Do you have any other tips to get ahead of the objections?
Do you know what the objections are? The biggest tip is to know what the objections are. So I'll give you an example, okay? One of the best sales calls I've ever been a victim to, I'll tell you exactly what this person did. These people sell sales services, so they better be good at selling. Person gets on the phone. So Chris, are you aware of what we do and how we do what we do? I'm like, no. It's a sales call, right? And do you mind if I take 5 to 10 minutes to tell you how we do what we do? I would love for you to. He goes, let me guess. You've hired sales reps in the past and it costs a lot of money. You're paying every single month and it's 3 to 4 to 5 months before you even see the results. And whatever results you get, there's no transparency about where those leads came from, whether they did anything or nothing. Am I right? At that point, I was already in. Let me just take the money. Because you already know everything I think about you right now. I think it's going to take too long. I think it's going to cost too much money. And then I'm not even sure what you do works because it's kind of all magic. When they said that, I knew they knew who we were. Their problem was they could not deliver on the results. So we did hire them for a period of time and then we fired them. But it was the best sales call I've ever been on. So whatever it cost me to do that, I learned that. The call was recorded. I had the transcript somewhere. Right? So does knowing what the objections are beforehand give you the upper hand? 100% yes. Because it communicates to the other person, this is not the first time you've done this. In fact, you've done it so many times, you already know what I'm going to say. How's that for building rapport and trust? The problem is everybody here, A, doesn't think about what those objections are and is too scared to bring them up. Now, I coach somebody and they have some problems, like, oh, I can't get any clients because I can't get any clients. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Oh, they're always going with a cheaper option. I'm like, you know this for a fact? She goes, I know it for a fact because I know the person they hire and I looked at her site. They steal my language. They steal how I talk about my process. They steal everything. And I asked her this question. And I said, do you believe this person can do what you do? She goes, absolutely not. They just steal the language. They cannot deliver. Okay. So what have you done? She goes, I don't know. What am I supposed to do? Client after client calls, gets a price from her, knowing that it's going to be 2x of what the other person is going to charge. She loses every single job. And I said, you know whose problem this is? It's your problem. Here's what I want you to do instead. Next time they call, this is what you're going to say. Oh, you want to do brand design strategy web thing? Okay, great. I just want to let you know something. I'm going to be 2 to 3x of what anybody else is going to charge you. In fact, there's going to be another person who you're most likely going to be talking to who's going to give you a price lower. And if you get what you need from this person, we don't need to have a conversation. You don't need to call me. Only call me if you don't feel confident that they're going to do a good job for you. They're like, what? Okay. Then I said, here's what you need to do as an expert. I want you to ask anybody that you talk to these 3 questions so that you're an informed buyer. What evidence do you have that what you're saying has worked and that you've done this before? And then you just go 2 and 3. She's teaching the client how to ask for proof. And then just like it happens, she gets another call. She does exactly what I tell her to do. Clients go away. And she's like, Chris, I just said goodbye to another client. Thanks a lot. I'm saying, okay, I'm sorry. It didn't work. Try it. Keep trying it and see what happens. 3 days later, that same client calls back and she said, you're right. I didn't have a good feeling. Now she doesn't have to lower her price and she's going to get the client because she just brought up the objections. So how would you bring the objections right up front? Speak confidently, hold yourself high. You don't need to explain. Whenever possible, do not explain anything. I don't get into the proof. Try not to prove anything. The time in which you prove is when they ask you, tell me the 3 clients you've worked with. Don't tell them ahead of time. Save that. That's your ammunition, okay? Somebody asks you, why does it cost this much? What do you do? Well, we have 4 team members. I have 2 offices. You know how rates are and Sydney's so expensive. That's what you do. You've just proved yourself. Don't do that. Why does it cost as much? That's what it costs. What are you going to say to that? That's what it costs to work with people like me. That's what my customers pay me. Don't explain. Why is it like that? Policy. We don't do that. Just policy. If you've enjoyed this video, I want to remind you about Content Lab, something that I've launched, and it's designed to help coaches, content creators, and authors just like you create content that consistently cuts through the clutter.